When the Lord is poised to bestow a major gift upon you, it seldom arrives in the manner you anticipate. The route to excellence is typically lined with difficulties, obstacles, and periods of deep doubt. Indeed, existence offers no quick routes to achievement, nor simple trails to the aspirations you cherish deeply. However, as the divine readies to favor you, he doesn't merely present it outright, rather, he reshapes you into someone capable of bearing the magnitude of that favor, and such reshaping is frequently uneasy. You'll start sensing an extension past your boundaries. Items you previously valued could drift apart, former habits may shatter, connections might evolve, and your surroundings could turn bewildering. Yet realize this, it's exactly during these phases of unease that the Almighty is operating within you, polishing you, and equipping you for the future. When the Lord is set to grant you a substantial boon, he doesn't simply place it before you. Instead, he readies you for it, and this readiness often resembles a phase of trimming, eliminating what's superfluous in your existence to enable you to support the abundance of favors he's ready to bestow upon you. You might not grasp it then, but the agony, the strife, the deprivation, it's all integral to the journey. Just like a plant requires trimming to yield greater produce, you must undergo a stage of individual polishing to manage the splendor ahead. In this period, you'll face examinations, trials of perseverance, belief, and stamina. You'll encounter discouragement occasionally, pondering if the assurance of improvement will ever materialize. But recall this, the divine doesn't examine you to shatter you, he examines to fortify you. He permits these hurdles because he recognizes your ability to surmount them. He has faith in you even when self-doubt prevails. This interval of anticipation of sensing stagnation isn't squandered. The Lord is instilling in you the qualities of forbearance, confidence, and dependence on him. If you reflect on the most remarkable tales of triumph, be they from scripture or contemporary eras, you'll notice a trend. They're invariably preceded by a time of delay, readiness, and frequently adversity. David, prior to ascending the throne, endured years in isolation, pursued by Saul, enduring dismissal, yet he was being molded into a ruler who would guide the people to triumph. Joseph endured betrayal into bondage, incarceration, and obscurity, but those ordeals formed him into Egypt's deputy leader. The finest commanders weren't crafted in eras of ease, they were tempered in the crucible of hardship. When the Lord is about to grant you a major endowment, he will excise specific elements and individuals from your existence. You may question why particular entrances are shutting or why prospects appear to evade your grasp, but in such instances, you must rely that the divine understands your optimal path. He is clearing away diversions, those who could burden you, and scenarios that might obstruct your entry into the completeness of your fate. You could sense isolation, forsakenness, but in that seclusion, the Lord is readying you to advance into a tomorrow, demanding your complete focus, your entire spirit, and your absolute reliance. An additional indicator that the Lord is set to provide you a substantial gift is when you start experiencing an awakening in your soul, a yearning for greater things. This awakening could manifest as a craving for something superior, transcending your present state. It's that profound, unyielding awareness that you're destined for beyond your current reality, and though you may not identify what that entails, you perceive the transition. It's akin to perching on the brink of a fresh episode in your existence, where all is poised for alteration. That awakening, that unease, signals that the Lord is conditioning your spirit for his scheme. You'll likewise observe that when the Lord is about to grant you something substantial, the elements that formerly gratified you lose their potency. What once offered serenity might now seem hollow. The pursuits you believed you desired could diminish in allure because the divine is readying you for what will nourish your essence. Unlike anything prior, he's realigning your yearnings to match his intent for your existence. The aspects that once seemed vital will recede, and the essentials, mission, zeal, vocation will sharpen into view. During these times, it's vital to cling to your belief even absent visible results. The Lord is a deity of chronology, and his chronology is invariably flawless. What you might overlook amid it all is that the very adversities you confront are readying you for an elevated mission. They're the proving area for the individual you need to evolve into to manage the splendor he's set to deliver. If you can weather this phase with forbearance and reliance, you'll arise more robust, more insightful, and primed for the favor awaiting beyond. Here, finally, when the Lord is about to grant you something substantial, he will supply the fortitude and insight required, yet he'll also urge you to proceed. Belief minus deeds is lifeless, and the divine will demand you advance even when progress appears absent. This is where your compliance enters. Advance in belief, despite lacking all solutions, despite the route ahead being hazy. The Lord won't favor your reluctance, but he will favor your compliance. He rewards those who rely on his chronology and act in harmony with his intent. Thus, amid hardship, doubt, and unease, don't despair. These are indicators that the Lord is set to grant you something substantial. Welcome the readiness, rely on the journey, and stride confidently into the tomorrow he readies for you. His favors are approaching, and upon arrival, you'll be equipped to bear them with poise, insight, and fortitude. When the divine is readying to favor you with something notable, the voyage commonly starts with a sequence of hurdles, conflicts, and tribulations. This isn't coincidental. Indeed, it's an essential element of his sacred blueprint. The method of acquiring something major is never seamless or devoid of hardship. It's crucial to comprehend that amid these instances of conflict, the Lord isn't aiming to dismantle you, but to construct you in manner essential for the magnificence forthcoming. Conflicts and unease aren't indicators of sacred desertion. Rather, they're markers of sacred readiness, akin to a competitor who must withstand intense drills before entering the arena, or a creator who invests endless hours perfecting their skill before displaying their creation. We must be honed via ordeals before we can genuinely manage the favors the Lord has positioned ahead. These ordeals, whether manifesting as individual bereavement, monetary strain, interpersonal conflict, or self-questioning, aren't intended to vanquish us. They're designed to form us into the being we must evolve to tread in the totality of the Lord's blueprint. Just as precious metal is honed in flames, your temperament, vigor, and conviction are honed in the blazes of existence's ordeals. You might sense the intensity of the hurdles, and occasionally it could appear intolerable, but it's in those instances when all seems unattainable that the Lord is sculpting you into an individual who can not merely persist but flourish in the magnificence He's conditioning for you. The unease you experience presently mirrors the magnificence lurking nearby. View it as the force that creates gems. When you sense you can't continue, when the burden of existence feels overwhelming, recollect this: you're being conditioned for something vastly exceeding your current vision. Conflicts aren't arbitrary, they're intentional, aiding you cultivate endurance, forbearance, and persistence. These are attributes you'll require as favors commence streaming into your existence. Frequently, we seek to evade adversity. We beseech for simplicity, for the unhindered path, and for our visions to realize sans strife. But if we obtained all desires sans readiness, we wouldn't be prepared. The favors the Lord holds for you demand an individual who can sustain them, and that individual shapes the hurdles. Sans traversing the honing method, you wouldn't possess the temperament to maintain the endowment. And we commonly gaze at the final outcome, the triumph, the favors, but overlook that those arrive with a cost, and that cost isn't quantified in currency, but in conviction, temperament, and readiness to persist amid tough. Furthermore, these ordeals don't solely assess our vigor, they construct our conviction. When we confront hurdles that appear unconquerable, it compels us to depend not on personal capabilities, but on the Lord's vigor and direction. Amid conflict, we acquire deeper reliance on Him, to rest upon Him when self-support falters. This reliance is what conditions us to oversee the favors He'll ultimately bestow. Sans reliance, we'd misuse what He provides, but via conflicts, He instructs us to depend on Him wholly, recognizing Him as the origin of our vigor and sustenance. In each hurdle, The Lord is honing you for something grander. The instant you're in presently, regardless of its severity, is a foundation to something splendid. The unease isn't a marker of defeat, it's a marker that the Lord is constructing you. When the favor ultimately arrives, when entrances unlock, when the assurance realizes, you'll be prepared to sustain it, to oversee it, and to glorify the Lord with it in manners previously impossible. Thus, don't scorn the conflict, don't denounce the unease, welcome it, for ultimately, you'll recognize it as integral to the journey that guided you to a state where you're more conditioned, more adept, and more favored than envisioned. As the Lord readies to favor you with something remarkable, he commonly commences by trimming your existence, excising elements, individuals, and scenarios that no longer harmonize with the mission he's established for you. You might discover that in specific phases you undergo unforeseen deprivations. Connections could dissipate, or prospects you deemed essential might terminate suddenly. Initially, it can be demoralizing. It might seem like abandonment or total loss, but suppose I informed you these alterations aren't markers of dismissal, but of the Lord's grander scheme emerging. Trimming is an innate and vital method for expansion. Consider a cultivator caring for a creeper or shrub. To strengthen it, enhance yield, and prosper, the cultivator must meticulously sever deceased or excessive limbs. This doesn't indicate the flora is damaged, it's being conditioned for superior productivity. Likewise, the Lord trims your existence to fortify you and create space for fresh expansion. The elements and individuals formerly present may no longer accompany you to your destiny's subsequent tier. The Lord permits specific excisions so you can accept the novel favors he holds. It's vital to acknowledge that these deprivations, though aching, aren't your narrative's conclusion. Rather, they're components of the Lord's tactical blueprint to prepare you for forthcoming events. Indeed, the Lord perceives the tomorrow in manners we can't. He envisions the prospects, hurdles, and individuals fated for your next life phase. Certain connections or scenarios might have fulfilled their role but aren't destined for your subsequent section. As aching as it is, occasionally the Lord must sever hindrances to your sacred mission. This method isn't regarding dismissal, it's regarding ascent. View your existence as elements as luggage. If burdened excessively, mobility falters and racing at intended speed becomes impossible. Trimming and diversion removal are the Lord's means to alleviate your burden and enhance your concentration. It's about purifying your route for advancement with lucidity and mission. The individuals or scenarios formerly integral may no longer align with the Lord's vision for you. If encircled by unsuitable companions or ensnared in improper scenarios, entry into your divine mission eludes you. When the Lord excises something or someone, it's an indicator he's creating space for superior alternatives. It might be challenging to comprehend initially, particularly when it seems you're left diminished, but rely that the Lord comprehends your necessities. The connections, prospects, or elements he's excising weren't intended as enduring. He holds superior on the vista, but space must precede. Occasionally, we cling to elements or individuals from dread of release's aftermath. We shun the unfamiliar, but recollect the Lord never excises sans substitution with superior. It might not manifest instantly and could demand duration, but post-trimming favors merit the endurance. You'll uncover that presumed deprivation was truly a sacred orchestration, an essential pivot to harmonize you with the Lord's grander blueprint. The Lord isn't inclined to deprive merely to vacate. His blueprint perpetually offers exceeding our requests or visions, but initially he must excise surplus, diversions, inert burdens for full acceptance of his offerings. Thus, when discovering the Lord's trimming, Recall it's an indicator of readiness for grandeur. It's not deprivation, but space creation for forthcoming. In these transitional phases, release with reliance and conviction. Rely that each deprivation is acquisition, each excision a sacred realignment. The Lord's mission for you is overly vital for encumbrance. By growth inhibitors, rely on his blueprint and recognize he's forging space for something remarkable. There will be instances in existence when the route forward appears ambiguous, when the trail you believed you treaded abruptly blurs, and tomorrow seems veiled in mist. In those instances, it's simple to feel adrift, perplexed, or disheartened. You might query your trajectory or endurance through impending hurdles, but I wish to emphasize something profoundly vital. When the route forward blurs, it's crucial to anchor your conviction in the Lord's impeccable chronology. Indeed, the Lord's blueprint for your existence surpasses vastly what you presently perceive. It's simple to be engulfed by proximate hardships, barriers, and ambiguities before you, but those are precisely what the Lord employs to steer you toward the elevated mission He's crafted for you. Amid perplexity, the Lord's chronology is perpetually impeccable. He commits no errors, he doesn't hasten, he doesn't waver. His blueprint isn't merely exact, but ideally customized to your existence and his sacred mission for you. Relying on the Lord's chronology isn't perpetually simple. We inhabit a realm prizing instantaneous outcomes, prompt satisfaction, and swift resolutions. When desiring something, we crave it immediately. We dislike delay, and prolonged waits challenge conviction maintenance. But the Lord's chronology operates sans our timetable. His methods differ from ours, his ideas from ours. There are instances when all seems sluggish, nothing progressing, but I guarantee the Lord is never dormant. He's operating unseen, conditioning scenarios, harmonizing appropriate individuals, and positioning all for the ideal instance revelation. Scripture instructs that the Lord beautifies all in its season. He's the supreme orchestrator, cognizant of the precise instant for alignment. His chronology isn't haphazard, it's deliberate. Consider Joseph's biblical narrative, betrayed into bondage by siblings, wrongly charged, imprisoned for years. Joseph withstood adversity and ambiguity, yet the Lord's presence endured. At the apt moment, the Lord exalted him to authority, employing him to preserve lives, including betrayers. Had elevation proceeded, Joseph would have been unready for impending grandeur. The Lord's impeccable chronology permitted Joseph's sculpting, honing, and equipping for his vocation. Akin to Joseph, you might sense your voyage rife with reversals, perplexity, and delays. You could ponder why acceleration eludes or why entrances close amid forward desires, but recollect, the Lord's postponement isn't refusal. He's orchestrating covertly, in conditioning and honing you. Each delay instant integrates his blueprint to cultivate your conviction, temperament, and vigor. The delay isn't squandered. It's in delay you acquire reliance, dependence on him, and evolution into the being required for his prepared favors. Occasionally, it's not solely awaiting the Lord's chronology's action. It's harmonizing your spirit with his chronology. Conviction isn't merely trusting the Lord's might. It's trusting his chronology comprehending. He views the entirety while you glimpse fragments. Relying on the Lord's chronology entails yielding personal comprehension, trusting his optimal knowledge. It entails conviction that he's neither tardy nor premature, but precisely timely. I recognize trusting amid ambiguity is challenging, but I urge today, incline to the Lord's chronology, release control urges, yield fears, doubts, impatience to him, permit his guidance. He'll navigate hardships and timely unlock unclosable entrances. You might not comprehend presently, but retrospectively, you'll recognize all unfolded, ideally grateful for each delay. The Lord is loyal, his chronology impeccable, really on his leadership to precise destinations cognizant. He's conditioning for unimaginable, guiding mission stepwise at exact moments. Ultimately, you'll realize his chronology differentiated all in your existence. There arrives a juncture in each devotee's existence when they commence sensing an awakening deep in their essence, a craving for something superior, grander than their present existence. This yearning isn't spawned from discontent with your position. It's the subtle murmur of the Lord's essence within, prompting full entry into the mission he's established. It's the ignition sparking metamorphosis. This awakening signals the Lord mobilizing within, conditioning for something vastly exceeding your visions. Initially, this yearning could feel uneasy, perhaps an inexplicable ache. You might become agitated, discontent with routine or accustomed existence. It's as if a subtle, insistent tone within declares there's additional for you than this. You were crafted for superior pursuits. This isn't craving worldly riches, position, or acclaim. It's profounder, a sacred thirst for the Lord's blueprint to reveal unexpectedly. The Lord awakens you because he holds something astonishing for your entry. Occasionally, amid this awakening, anxiety or impatience arises. We query why this sensation, why discontent with position, but comprehend this sensation is a boon. It's the Lord's manner of revealing his heart work, conditioning for your journey's subsequent section. The Lord has embedded a distinct vocation in your existence, and the craving for additional is the initial stride toward it. This awakening frequently breeds profound discontent with averageness and satisfaction. You start sensing your existence can't be restricted by present confines. You might survey and think, I recognize I was crafted for beyond this. Additional mission, zeal, satisfaction await. That's the Lord conditioning your spirit for his stored grandeur. The awakening within isn't erroneous nor haphazard. It's a sacred nudge urging elevation. But note, the Lord doesn't awaken your spirit sans blueprint. He doesn't bestow craving for additional sans attainment path. That yearning for splendor, whether conviction growth, influence expansion, amplified service, or achievement beyond present grasp, mirrors the blueprint he's tailored for you. Amid this awakening, it's action time. You're summoned forward. Release present comfort. Enter unknown, trusting the Lord's guidance. Yet, this awakening poses a test to surpass the confining comfort zone. When the Lord initiates heart awakening, it's an invitation to grandeur, to shatter ordinary, welcome remarkable. The craving for additional is a sacred summons to broaden capacity, undertake daring strides, ascend fresh peaks. The Lord summons the splendor, but the voyage won't be seamless. It demands exertion, forfeiture, readiness to abandon old for new, but I assure, the Lord's grandeur exceeds imaginations. When he awakens your heart, he's conditioning to witness embedded dreams and missions realization. Thus, if sensing that awakening today, that craving for superior, don't disregard, don't permit fading, incline, welcome, allow propulsion into the Lord's summoned existence. Recognize the Lord loyally completes initiated work. The craving for grander promises guidance to unseen mission, abundance, impact. Ascend to the summons, rely on his chronology, enter prepared splendor, the finest await. When the Lord is conditioning to favor you with something surpassing imaginations, a potent stride is treading in compliance and deed, even amid unclear routes. This is among toughest for many, correct? Future surety can evoke dread, doubt, perplexity. We crave solutions, precise forthcoming knowledge and timing, but frequently the Lord's blueprint reveals stepwise, requesting trust via forward motion, sans full vista. Compliance isn't regarding advanced comprehension, it's responding to the Lord's summons with eager spirit, even amid uncertain tomorrow. Consider Abraham. The Lord instructed homeland departure, familiar abandonment to undisclosed land. Abraham lacked complete chart, specifics of destination, or awaiting. He possessed solely the Lord's assurance and directive, and what ensued? He proceeded, advanced in conviction, despite absent solutions, and via compliance, the Lord favored unimaginably. Indeed, compliance unlocks the Lord's favor. The Lord seeks not flawlessness or total comprehension, but readiness, a spirit prepared to trust sufficiently for action, sans outcome visibility. This doesn't preclude queries or worries. It signifies choosing trust in the Lord's superior path knowledge. His insight exceeds yours. His blueprint perpetually benefits, even unseen, amid moments. The Lord doesn't perpetually provide full vista immediately. He seldom details entire voyage up front. Why? Because he desires process trust, faith stretching, character building, timing reliance refinement. Compliance sans full comprehension powerfully expresses trust in the Lord's dominion. The instant you advance in compliance, you're declaring, Lord, I trust you sans forward visibility. I trust your guidance, knowing you'll reveal subsequent stride timely. Deed is equally vital. It's insufficient to sense heart awakening or perceive the Lord's grandeur summons. Conviction demands deed. Conviction sans deeds lifeless James, Ursulope. The Lord's compliance isn't inactive, not mere event waiting. It's dynamic motion toward summoned direction, sans full details. The deed's stride concerns trusting each minor advance nears prepared fate. Consider Peter's water walking when Jesus summoned boat exit. Peter awaited not calm waters or perfect alignment. He advanced in compliance toward Jesus amid tempest, and while eyes fixed on Jesus, he trod in conviction, but fear overtake initiated. Sinking, the Lord summons boat exit toward stored grandeur, even amid turbulent waters. Unclear tomorrow, your compliance indeed decide faith-walking miracle or doubt-sinking dread. When the Lord summons to grandeur, he won't perpetually provide full schematic up front. He might offer sufficient for subsequent stride, and it's yours to rest trust. Your readiness to comply sans all details is the conviction act unlocking the Lord's favor. The Lord never summons wrongward. If summoning motion, he'll perpetually supply path, vigor, guidance for continuance. And here's beauty. The Lord favors action willingness. When advancing in compliance sans all solutions, he perceives your conviction and trust, favoring it. Your compliance is a seed burgeoning grander than imaginable. Its assurance the Lord meets amid loyalty, guiding, fortifying, unlocking solely his openable entrances. The Lord doesn't request pre-step full figuring. He requests sufficient trust for motion, deed, compliance. He requests faith assent, courageous stride, following his lead, knowing he'll loyally fulfill assurances, favor compliance. Thus, undertake the stride, await not all solutions, not ideal instant. Stride in conviction and compliance, observe the Lord's life work, guiding to unimaginably grandeur. Tomorrow,